Hello, this is Chris Walsh, CEO of AcadiaSoft, in conversation with my friend and now partner, Nate Ondyak. Nate, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Nate Ondyak, and I run Swap Agent for the London Clearinghouse.
Can you tell us about your journey?
Yeah, sure. I've been at LCH about 8 years now and joined one of the first employees in the New York office when a little rule called Dodd-Frank was rolled out, and clearing turned out to matter a lot more than we thought. And now expanding that horizon into the non-cleared derivative markets through Swap Agent.
You know, AcadiaSoft, we're very focused in the post-trade OTC derivative space. And from your client base, how does your client base overlap with ours? And what are they looking at right now?
Look, obviously there's a major overlap between the players in the non-cleared derivative markets and the cleared markets and in the swap agent space. And so the UMR compliance is probably the #1 topic of the day. People are looking for direction and help and services really to automate these processes, because it is a big challenge, as you know, to be compliant by the time you need to be in today's market.
Yeah. Now, you've seen some tremendous growth lately, not just in SwapClear, but in some of the other products at LCH.
Right.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I think LCH has grown incredibly strongly in the cleared interest rate derivatives markets through SwapClear, which is sort of our bread and butter product post Dodd-Frank. But in addition to that, big developments have happened in the Forex clear market, where you've seen a lot of that market move to clearing partly as a result of UMR and the bilateral margin consequences of that rule set. And so we've seen big growth there, and then more recently, the newest kid on the block is the swap agent service for non-cleared rates.
Yeah. Now, what I find amazing is the cleared business is growing like that, and at the same time, our OTC derivatives business volumes are growing at 30% plus.
Right.
What does that make you think of?
It made us think we should invest in AcadiaSoft. No, I think there was this perspective, a couple of, maybe 4 years ago, that clearing would be a panacea and the non-cleared markets would die. And I think we came to the conclusion that the non-cleared markets are here to stay, that they're a critical source of innovation and development and customization to meet customer needs. And they weren't going away. And so that's one of the key reasons why, as opposed to just clearing more and more products through SwapClear and Forex Clear, and which we will continue to do, we decided to roll out the non-cleared service to satisfy that customer base, and also to partner with AcadiaSoft, because we see that same growth potential and the need to make these markets more efficient related to all the complications related to the new rules.
Some notional is moving to cleared,
right?
But we're seeing a new level of complication in the uncleared side.
That's right.
What we're seeing is what used to be a single agreement now is 2, 3, 4
Absolutely.
agreements with IM, regulatory and non-regulatory margin.
That's right.
So I guess when we look at it, we're starting to see, hey, the uncleared market's here. The volumes are increasing, even with notional moving. Okay, there's a healthy market across the two. What we're also seeing, and what gets us excited about the work we're doing together, we start seeing on the horizon a convergence. We start seeing a lot of what's seen on the buy side already, where people are looking at margin as being a single integrated function, whereas on the sell side it tends to be broken down silos, or it tends to be a different end client.
Right.
We start seeing that coming together. Now, do you have any observations on that?
I agree. I think you're seeing a convergence between those markets, and I think the market needs solutions that aren't, I can be your clearinghouse or I can be your non-cleared service. It's sort of solve my problem in the most efficient way possible across the available toolkit.
What's next? What's the shift once all this compliance is covered?
I think that you have to get compliant, and that's priority 1, 2, and 3 before the date. But once you pass that point, then you need to find the efficiencies in the process so that you can actually operate, run, and change your business. And so I think you saw this with the first wave of the bilateral margin rules that the Tier 1 banks focused on. They got compliant, and then they quickly turned to figure out how to optimize margin for example, how to optimize their CSAs, for example, how to have much greater STP in terms of how they agree and manage disputes and things like that. And so in some ways we've seen this before, we just haven't seen it on this sort of a scale, and we haven't seen it with this sort of a customer base who may not have quite the level of resource that your tier one banks have to manage these sort of problems.
I totally agree. I think that shift to efficiency, I believe, is going to start creating more focus on fundamental change. Firms looking at the silos that they currently have, breaking them down, considering alternatives that such a swap agent.
I agree.
That
100%.
add new capabilities to the market. Looking at outsourcing certain functions that they haven't thought of before, but I think there'll be a real focus on large cost reductions. Well, Nate, thank you very much for joining us today. We are very excited about the partnership, about the work we're doing together. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
We are too. Thank you for having me.